Hey, how you doing? It's DTM here, and I've been getting quite a few questions about the tea. Is tea raw? Well, this is my version of raw tea. I still actually do, what I'll do is boil the water, and then I turn the water off, let it cool just for a little bit, and then I'll throw the herbs in the tea. Obviously, I'm living on an herb farm that specializes in producing medicinal teas. So when in Rome, so I'm making tea a daily part of my life. But what I wanted to do was show you how I like to do it my favorite way. This is the technically raw tea. And I just take a jar. What I did is I went to the spring, and I love going to that spring because I just camel up and then fill up all my jars. Because when I first got to the island, I was like spending a lot of money on water because that's an old habit that I have on the mainland, I mean, I knew where there was some springs, but for the most part, they weren't close or easily accessible. So anyways, it's wonderful to have a spring here and some glass jars, so that's saving me a lot of money. Yeah, that's an interesting point I guess I'll make just off the cuff, is that, sometimes people are like, well, isn't it really expensive there? But the truth is, it's like crazy enough, a lot of expenses went away, like water, and that kind of thing, because there's a spring, several different springs. In fact, you can just hike up the waterfall and drink the water because it's rain that just came down yesterday, you know what I mean? And there's no chemtrails and no pollution and no runoff. So that's an interesting thought there, isn't it? Anyways, I went to the spring and harvested this water yesterday. And then what I did is this morning, I put just some of the herbs in the water here. And this is actually Tranquility Blend, which is one of my favorite blends because after a long day's work of working and playing, I get kind of really, really energized here. There's so much mana, so much prana, so much vitality that if I want to stay consistent with waking up very early at 5 in the morning and meditating for an hour before I go do an hour and a half of yoga, before I meet my boys at the gym, then I come back here and try to start work with everyone else at 9. So it's kind of a tight little squeeze there. If I want to make that happen in a really fluid way, I need to make sure I'm getting to bed on time. And so the Tranquility tea just really kind of chills me out. Like I said on one of the past videos, I'll take some Tranquility tea, 16 or maybe even 32 ounces, depending. And I'll just watch a couple of YouTube videos or something like that. And just really relax, and just let go. And it helps me to unwind. So that was my way, a real simple way. And I just leave it in the sun here all day. And I figure it's done after one day in the sun, but I think for the really powerful effects, what you have is the electromagnetics of the earth going up into the water, the power of the sun pulling the water soluble as well as fat soluble constituents from the tea. And I think in the sun, it's much more gentle on the water soluble healing properties of the tea. There's different variations in the different amount of the plant constituents that are pulled by a sun infusion as opposed to more of a decoction, which can take place like a rolling boil for a while. Some roots really need to be boiled for a while to extract the medicinal properties. A lot of these are just leafy green plants, and so they infuse quite easily. There's mostly in this Tranquility Blend, it's leafy green plants, so they infuse in the sun really easily. There's a whole science to it, and I'm no expert. I'm actually going to ask Jenna to show us how to brew the perfect cup of tea, but I just wanted to make a quick video and let you know how I like to do it here in the sun. And this is what you would call technically raw tea, because these herbs are harvested by hand, and then they're set in these baskets where they have like a kind of a pre-drying setting, and then when there's room in the dehydrator, they'll go in the solar dehydrator for several days, and they'll be dehydrated at a very low temperature so that these herbs are technically raw. That's why I can associate myself with this, because obviously being who I am and the role that I play, which is all that it is, it's just a role. Not that I'm confined or restricted in any way, but what I'm here to choose, or what was chosen really for me to represent. And so technically raw herbs brought into the dehydrator, so these herbs are technically raw when they show up at your house in the little canisters, you know what I mean? And then you put the herbs here in the with the sun, and then the moon overnight. I'll let this sit out here overnight and let it get the moon vibes, and then tomorrow morning I will consider this batch of tea finished. And then I can put it in my refrigerator and it'll probably last up to a week. I can add a little bit of cane juice to it, some lemon, some honey. I can add it over some ice, however you want to roll. You know, it's hot, summertime right now, so you can make an iced tea out of it. So anyway, there's my video on how to make raw tea. So thank you very much for watching, giving it a thumbs up. And if you want to check out more about the farm where I'm staying and working, there's a link down below this video. It's called the Kauai Pharmacy, and it's a really awesome place. And each day that I spend here, I have more and more reverence for what's happening here, for these plants, and for this lifestyle, you know. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll be staying in touch with you for sure, because I have a video show on YouTube, and I pretty much make a video like every day. And today I made like 5, and I'll probably end up making like 6 or 7, and I'll probably post all of them. Pretty cool, right? I'm blessed. I hope you feel that way too. Peace be with you. Goodbye for now.